Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Flerick.
This is Mac.
And this is going to be our second attempt at an introduction to sumo episode. Our first one was the very first podcast we had ever attempted to create, and our knowledge of sumo has grown since then, and our knowledge of podcasting has grown since then.
A little bit.
So we figured we'd give this another shot. Probably have a little bit more than 5 minutes of sumo introduction.
Is that all it was?
It really was. The rest of it was just like us talking about ourselves.
Oh, what were we thinking?
That was probably as much as we knew about sumo at that time.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to kind of go over what overall information about sumo wrestling, what a match structure looks like, what the tournament structure is, and what the ranks are. And then at the end of this, we are also going to put some very special guests to the test. So maybe if you are very familiar with sumo wrestling, you can jump ahead to that point and just listen to us, embarrass some very special people to us.
Yep, I will put the timestamp in the description so you can check the description of this podcast episode for if you want to skip ahead to the embarrassing parts.
But I think we will just go ahead and get right into it. So, Mac, why don't you kick us off?
I would, but I am not doing that.
That's a good point. I forgot what order we were doing this in. Hey, Jake, you want to kick us off there,
As
buddy?
you can see, we have grown immensely from our initial
We're much
episode.
better at podcasting now.
Yes.
However, I feel insulted and I refuse to do it.
All right. But do it.
Okay, I've gotten over it. So, like we said, or like Ryan said, this is like just a redo of a very, very introductory overview of sumo wrestling. So this first section here, we want to talk about like what happens when you turn on the TV and you see sumo wrestling there. What is on your screen? What's happening? Why are they dressed like this and whatnot? So I guess first off, it is still a sport. It's like a private company, just like the NFL or the NBA here in America or whatever. The Japan Sumo Association is in charge of everything here, and they're the ones who organize the tournaments. They're the ones who decide all the ranks and whatnot that we'll get to.
Might also be referred to as the NSK or the Nihon Sumo Kyokai.
Right. So those terms interchangeable, but those are the people in charge. If you do hear that, but. The people that are physically in the ring when matches happen, you have two wrestlers, and there are a number of different terms for the wrestlers. The most common one you'll hear is rikishi. You may hear sumotori, but the wrestlers themselves, the top division wrestlers that you're going to see on TV most often, they all have the same haircut, they all have the same outfit, but maybe different colors. The haircut is just a traditional samurai style haircut that is one of the many traditions that has been passed down through sumo here. That special top knot is called a chonmage, and the belt that the sumo wrestlers wear is called a mawashi. The mawashi is very specific to sumo. It's very stiff. It's very it's very sturdy. I mean, you'll notice that the wrestlers grab each other's belts and like hurl each other around with them and whatnot. But that mawashi is very, very specific to sumo, and the top division wrestlers, you'll notice they have these stiffened fronds that are hanging from it, purely for decoration. And I mean, of course, because they look amazing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they make the wrestlers look so much more aerodynamic and whatnot.
If sumo isn't about sporting competition, it's mostly a style competition, really.
Yeah. So, like, who's got the coolest colors on their mawashi? The mawashi, by the way, is one of the only ways that people can distinguish themselves physically from the other wrestlers, or visually.
Besides their physical traits and all that stuff.
Besides their physical traits and whatnot, but yeah, like you don't have special uniforms or sponsors or anything like that. It's only the mawashis themselves. So you'll see a wide variety of colors in the top divisions. But yeah, so you'll also see the third man in the ring is called the gyoji. He's the referee. He kind of keeps track of time and makes sure that the wrestlers start at a specific time. There's a limited amount of time the wrestlers can dawdle and throw salt and prepare before the matches, and Mac will get to that. But the gyoji there is keeping track of time and telling the wrestlers when they have to start. He also decides who wins. He carries a little fan, like a war fan that he'll point towards the side of the winner. It's his call. He's the one who gets to make that decision, and he's also in a very traditional getup. He's wearing a Shinto priest inspired outfit. You'll see people around the ring cleaning up in between matches, like dusting off the ring, cleaning up and making sure everything's progressing normally. Those guys are called the yobidashi. They are also part of the Sumo Association, and they're basically there doing like the menial work, making sure everything is flowing and everything is progressing according to plan. You may also notice that these wrestlers are potentially like you can get wrestlers that are twice as big as the other wrestler. There's no weight classes in sumo, so you can get in the top division right now. We have, for example, Enho. Enho is about 100 kilos or 220 pounds, which I mean is not small, but that's like hilariously small for a sumo wrestler.
Pretty sure that's the smallest guy in the top division we could find.
Certainly smallest guy right now, yeah. Ichinojo, at the time of this recording, is the biggest guy. He's over 200 kilos, so he's pushing 500. Huge variety of size and huge variety of technique, but yeah, because there's no weight classes, it really different wrestlers have to develop their own style. But you will see other wrestlers sitting around the ring who are waiting their turn for their match. You'll also see some guys in black robes around. Those are usually coaches, but they are the side judges. So in case the gyoji or referee makes maybe he can't see the call and he messes it up or something, or if one of those judges around the ring, if they think that somebody stepped out, or anytime there's a judgment call that you need an extra set of eyes for, that's what those guys are. And there's 5 of them sitting around the circumference of the ring. But those are the people that you're going to see on the screen when matches are happening. But Mac, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what is happening once the match starts? What's actually going on there?
Well, in that case, once the match begins, each rikishi will approach the ring from either the west or east sides, and they approach the doyo, as the ring is called, is usually made of clay. It's been made the same way for hundreds of years since the sport began. It's a raised platform with straw bales, or tawara, that are encircling a certain area. And then in the center, you have the shikiri sen, or 2 white lines that are in the center of the ring itself. At this point, both of the wrestlers will do their own entrance ceremonies where they will throw salt into the air to purify both the doyo and the area around it. They will do this several times before they are ready to begin their initial tachiai, or their initial meeting at the center of the ring. There are 2 different forms of sumo that the rikishi can practice. There's oshi-sumo, which is more designed around the pushing and thrusting, or yatsu-sumo, which is around the belt techniques. As Jake alluded to before, the gyoji carries the gunbai, or the war fan. He will determine the winner of each match and point it in the direction of that rikishi. The finishing moves, or winning moves, are called kimarite, such as oshidashi, which is frontal force out, or frontal push out, yorikiri, which is the next one, which is frontal force out. Each finishing move has its own name. The match ends when a kimarite is performed. Or there are certain cases where both of the rikishi will not have their fists down or on the shikiri sen and not agree to a mutual charge, in which the gyoji or shimpan will call a mata, or a false start, in which they will have to redo the match again.
And this is because like there isn't like a starting pistol, right?
Correct. No, it's just an agreed to charge. It's just that agreements to initially charge into each other. And that, again, that initial fight, that initial smash is called the tachiai. There are some cases where maybe the gyoji gets a call wrong, or maybe they stepped out of the ring, where a side judge, a shimpan, will call a manoi, in which case all of them will get together, discuss the ruling, or discuss what it is that each, or a single shimpan saw, and decide what to do from there. They can either decide to either award the rikishi with the win or loss, or declare a teranao oshi, which is a redo, in which case they will start the match all over again, just like a mata.
So on a basic level, though, what happens, what causes the match to be ended? How do you know when somebody has lost?
Someone usually loses when you have either a guy step out of the ring, or they touch the clay with anything but the bottom of their feet. That could be a hand, that could be a knee, any other part of the body except for their foot. The bottom of their foot is allowed to touch the ring.
So like any slip or off balance or anything, as soon as they touch the ground at all, or if they just graze the dirt outside of those straw bales outside the ring, it's immediately over.
Yep, game over. And the matches can last several minutes, or they can last all of a few seconds. It just depends on the different techniques of each rikishi.
But other than that, there's very few rules in the ring.
Correct. Like there are a few rules, though. You cannot have a closed fist when you are going to strike another rikishi. Your fists have to be open. So you can do a full-on haymaker wind back and go for a smack, but you can't have a closed fist.
Because that makes all the difference, right?
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
You can go for the nodawa or the throat push, but you can't grip. You can't grip the other guy's throat, and you cannot pull their chonmage. Any kind of hair pulling, you're automatically disqualified, and the match is over.
Of course, Anchorman rules, right?
Yeah, exactly. No eye pokes, no groin shots.
Yeah, I mean, people. I'm sure they happen incidentally. I mean, we've definitely seen some eye pokes, but you're not like allowed to go for it.
Right.
But it happens.
Yeah, you'll see incidental hair pulls where they won't call that and disqualify you from the match.
But if a guy gets cut, if a guy has any other physical injury while in the dojo beyond those things that we just mentioned, the match will continue. We've seen guys with busted up noses, busted faces, busted cheeks and chins, and the match will continue until somebody touches the ground or touches outside of the ring first.
Yeah, and those slaps that you mentioned, we've actually there's a couple times where people have gone like unconscious or at least gotten rocked by those strikes. I mean, they're swinging for the fences sometimes, and it's a brutal sport.
Doesn't have to be a smack either. You can also see forearm shivers, especially at that initial charge or the tachi-ai.
And headbutts, too.
Lots of headbutts. A lot of guys lead with their heads.
It's absolutely brutal, but it's kind of cool how the rules themselves are very simple.
But to talk more about the tournament structure, I'm going to hand that over.
All right, thank you, Mac. So Mac just went over what a match is, and there are 15 matches that will constitute a tournament, which is otherwise known as a basho, or it could also be known as a honbasho, which is a professional tournament. There are 6 of those throughout the year, once every other month, starting in January. They're just Hatsu, Haru, Natsu, Nagoya, Aki, and Kyushu. Like I said, a tournament is 15 days if you're in the top 2 divisions of sumo wrestling, and 7 days or 7 matches throughout 15 days if you are in the lower 4 divisions.
And when you say top division, that's what we're really going to see on TV or on YouTube, right?
That's the focus of our podcast, and that's what you're going to see on TV for the most part, unless you're live streaming it.
Right, and if you hear the term like Grand Sumo, that usually means that we're referring to top division. Like that's what the NHK calls it on their coverage, or et cetera.
Yep. And so the main goal for any tournament, for any Rikishi, is to win the tournament. Each Rikishi will fight once a day for 15 days, and whoever has the best record at the end of the 15 days will win the championship or the Yusho. You also have the Jun Yusho, which isn't an official prize like the Yusho is, but it's what we call the person that has the second best record, or the people that have the second best record in a tournament.
You can tie for that one.
Yeah, we've seen a tournament where there were 4 people that got the Jun Yusho because they had the second best record. And beyond, if you're not going to get a Yusho or Jun Yusho, you're probably fighting for just a winning record, which is a Kachikoshi. So in the top division, that's going to be at least 8 wins. So you guarantee you have more wins than losses.
Right. 8 and 7 would be the minimum to get a winning record.
Yes. And then if you're not getting a Kachikoshi or winning record, you're going to have a Makekoshi or a losing record, and that's going to be any win total below 8. And so that really determines who rises in the ranks and who falls in the ranks, but we'll have Flair talk about that more in a minute. At the end of 15 days, if we have 2 people that are tied for the best record, you will have a playoff immediately following the final match of the 15 days. And that, if it's between 2 people, you just have one match, and whoever wins that is the winner. And it's a different structure for 3 or more people. There are other prizes that you can fight for during a tournament. There are 3 special prizes called Sansho. There's the Kanto Show, or the Fighting Spirit Prize, the Gino Show, the Technique Prize, or the Shukun Show, the Outstanding Performance Prize. These are just determined by a council. Is it the Yokozuna Deliberation Council, or is it a different council? We don't know. Some people decide these things.
But they're judgment calls between people. Yeah,
calls.
so
yeah,
like
it's decided by a group of, I think, the media and some sumo elders in the organization as well.
Okay. And then another named prize, not really a prize that you can get, but it does result in a pay raise, is a Kin Boshi, and that happens when a Maegashira, the lowest ranked person in the top division, defeats a Yokozuna, which is the top ranked sumo wrestler in all of sumo.
Yeah, Flair will talk more about those ranks, but like that's like a huge upset, and you can actually get like a permanent pay raise when you get one of those. They're a very prestigious award, even though it's not really like, a technical prize the way the other ones are awarded.
Yeah, it's still tracked, and
it's still prestigious, very prestigious.
Yes. There's also events where people get injured and they can't perform in the tournament anymore, and that is Fusen or it's Kyujo when they pull out, and then the loss would either be a Fusen loss or a Fusen victory based on the absence of your opponent for that day.
Right, and this is kind of different from a lot of American sports. Like if you're injured in football or whatever, you just sit out. But like in sumo, if you sit out, it basically counts the same as if you lost.
You're penalized for it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to ever miss any matches without having a bit of a punishment.
Yeah.
As far as your record goes,
there will be consequences for missing.
so there's a lot of pressure to stay in, even if you're injured. You'll see guys with held together by tape.
Yeah, which goes back to kind of the samurai or spirit, which a lot of this is kind of based off of, where it's kind of, even if I'm injured, I'm going to persevere and I'm going to go out there and fight.
And then when a Rikishi has finally decided that they've sumoed enough sumo in their entire life, they will retire or go intai, and that is when they will be pulled off the Bansuke, which Fleric will discuss right now.
All right, so sumo, just like other sports such as tennis, has a ranking system of where everyone gets ranked of who's the best depending on their performance.
Ah, yes, like tennis. Exactly.
Just like tennis.
Much more relatable.
Yes.
I know. Well, yeah. So
I don't know anything about tennis. I'm sorry.
So there are multiple different divisions that go with sumo based on your rank. And the way you, as Ryan alluded to before, it's kind of very simple rules. If you win more matches than you lose, you go up in rank. If you lose more than you win, you go down in rank. And so we have different divisions in sumo. The names are the Jonokuchi, Jonidan, Sandame, Makushita, and then onto the kind of top professional ones are Juryo and Makuuchi.
And that's going from lowest prestige to most prestige.
Exactly.
And when Fleric says professional ones, the first four that he listed, you're not getting paid until you get to the top two divisions.
Yes, you get like a very, very small net allowance, but a lot of these Rikishi or wrestlers are actually just training all day, trying to get up into those into professional ranks. Your life is also like not the best at that time because you're pretty much training all day and then you're doing chores for the rest of it for all the other older Rikishis.
Yeah, the senior guys and the top ranked guys are basically weighted upon by the younger guys. The younger and lower ranked guys are often like assistants to the big guys.
Yeah. So there's a big motivation to get up into ranks, into the top ranks of Juryo and Makuuchi. So you can be able to do some top-level wrestling and also not have to do as many chores and get paid some money.
Sounds
and
good
get
to
married.
Me. Yeah, yeah, married too.
Married too, yeah. You can move. Until then, you can't move out of the gym, the Heya, as they're called. So all the rankings are put onto a Banzuke. It is split down the middle to the east and west, of where the east is slightly more prestigious than the west.
And this Banzuke, this is like a document.
Yes, it's a document that's released right before Hanbasha or tournament.
Just saying what rank each wrestler is at. It's like the official match card kind of a thing.
Exactly, yeah. Depending on your rank, determines the wrestlers that you're going to be facing in that tournament. So of all those divisions, the one that we're going to see on TV is the Makuuchi division. And that is broken down to a couple ranks. The lowest one is Megashira, which typically goes from Megashira 15 all the way up to Megashira 1.
Yeah, so that's like a total of 30 guys or so, the vast majority of the division.
Exactly. Above that, we get some very special ranks that they call the Sanyaku ranks. We have the Komusubi rank, which is 2 people. And above that, we have 2 more people with the Sekiwake rank.
It's typically 2 people at those 2 ranks. There are special cases that can be made every once in a while where they'll open up a 3rd slot for Komusubi or Sekiwake. But as Fleric said, it's typically going to be 2 people at those ranks.
We've seen it like twice in 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Sekiwake rank is the highest you can get based on merit alone. If you just keep on winning more than you're losing, you're eventually going to get to the Sekiwake rank.
Yeah, if you get like a barely above 500, like just 1 win more than your losses, you could end up at Sekiwake, sure, which is extremely prestigious, but you won't get to these champion ranks.
Exactly. The 2 ranks after this are the Ozeki and Yokozuna rank. The Ozeki rank is, as Jake called it, it's a championship rank. These are the people who are winning tournaments. They're not just getting 8 wins out of 15 in a tournament. They're usually getting 10, 12, or just maybe even 15 win every single match. Ozeki is the second from highest rank. The way you get this rank is by having at least 33 wins over 3 bashos, which averages around 11 wins the whole entire time, which in sumo is an extremely hard thing to do.
Listen, that's the minimum, though. The minimum requirement is just 33 wins. You also have to throw in some Jun Yusho, maybe a few Yusho, and definitely perform well against the Yokozuna.
Exactly. So there is criteria to be promoted, but it's definitely not very, very clear. So there's kind of a judgment call. Mm-hmm. You have to kind of wow the people choosing the rank as well. You can't just like perform and just do some cheesy strategies that don't look all that impressive. You have to look impressive while you do it.
Yeah, and they're not even going to consider you for Ozeki promotion until you're in these Sanyaku ranks. You can't start with 11 wins at like Maegashira 7 and then get 2 more 11-win tournaments and be considered for Ozeki. You have to have these 3 outstanding tournaments in a row while going up against the top people.
Mm-hmm. So the Ozeki rank, also to get the promotion to it, it works a little bit different than all the other ranks in the sense that being demoted from it is a little bit harder as well. Normally, when you have a losing record, you would go down rank. Ozeki have a one-time chance. If they have a losing record, they have a chance to get the winning record the next basho to keep their rank. They get a little bit of leeway. Since they work so hard to get up here, they have a little leeway from being demoted.
Yeah, so they basically get 2 chances to get a good record before getting a demotion, whereas everything below that, you'll immediately get demoted if you have a bad record.
Exactly. And the reason we talk about that is because there is one rank above that called the Yokozuna rank. Yes. And this is the rank that is the top of the top. These are the best Rikishi at the time. They're kind of the leader of sumo. They do a special ceremony called the Dohyo Iri, kind of to chase out the demons, I believe.
Yeah, that's like at the beginning of each day of sumo. There's all sorts of ceremony in sumo, of course, but once you're a Yokozuna, you get to do your own every day.
Exactly. So these are the top of the top. This is the highest rank. And to get this, if you thought 33 wins over 3 bashos were pretty tough, you have to win 2 tournaments in a row or something equally impressive as like a year of just getting second place and winning a tournament at the end, as we've seen. So this is the highest rank. It's the most impressive, and also since it's so hard to get there, just like Ozeki, you can't really be demoted from it. It's so harsh that as soon as you start kind of losing, your skill and you start kind of slipping and not being as good, you have to you usually are called upon to instantly retire. Yeah. Other ranks you can kind of stick around for a while and hopefully get a little bit better and maybe stick around for a year before you finally call it quits. Yokozuna don't get that luxury. As soon as they are not up to par, they step out.
Yeah, but that's like it's a pressure thing, right? It's like because it's such a judgment call to get there. It's also kind of a judgment call to leave that rank, or to retire. There've been a couple instances of people being forced to retire due to conduct, but basically the rank itself is so exalted that the social pressure to perform while you are ranked as a Yokozuna is enough to cause people to retire when their performance is no longer good.
Exactly. It's just as we alluded to before, sumo is huge in tradition. And once like the kind of honor with the Japanese feudal society is super paramount to everyone participating. And that is increasingly important for the Yokozuna. Even though they could technically stick around for a very long time, it's kind of up to them. As soon as they feel like they can no longer hold the mantle of Yokozuna, the pressure from that has them retire.
Yeah, and there's also the Yokozuna Deliberation Council, which they kind of meet after every basho to discuss kind of Yokozuna and Ozeki to decide any Ozeki eligible to be promoted, but then they'll also discuss like, hey, should we recommend this Yokozuna to retire? They've been injured and haven't been fighting. Their performance hasn't been up to snuff pretty much. So there is some influence from that Yokozuna Deliberation Council. They don't have any actual say in what happens, but they do put out suggestions, and a lot of times what they suggest happens.
But the title of Yokozuna is so prestigious that there have only been 72 named to that position in the whole history of sumo.
300-year history.
Yeah, sumo, it's been around for ages. As a competition, it's been around for, like thousands of years potentially. But its organized sport form has a very solid history going. I think we have Bansuke records going back maybe 250 years. Yeah, give or take. But the current system of how the ranks, how the tournaments, and everything has been exactly the same since like the 50s or so.
Yep.
There's all those 6 tournaments a year, all these different divisions, and how people go up and down between the divisions. the qualifications to get those promotions to the top 2 ranks. That's all been, there's hundreds of years of history to the sport, but the exact structure of it has been exactly the same for, going on 70 years.
Right, you are, Jake. So those are the ranks in sumo. When you're watching sumo on TV, as we mentioned, the big ranks you're going to see is the Megashira ranks, the Komusubi, Sekiwaki, Ozeki, and Yokozuna. These are the top of the top. And even above that, we have a group called the Joy, which is the top 16 Rikishi. And these are the Rikishi who are going against the Yokozuna. So those are the matches that are usually most watched and kind of watched for.
Right. So the Joy, what you're referring to there, that's the top guys on the Bansuke. So like the Yokozunas and et cetera, and the top handful of Megashira. It's just kind of a colloquial term for who is going to be at a rank where they will have to face a Yokozuna, because that's like the hot seat, the really high caliber, high profile matches.
Yeah, because how they determine who is going to face who, first half of a tournament, first 7 days or so, it's going to be based on your rank on who you go up against. And for the Yokozuna and Ozeki, Sekiwake, Komusubi, and the Joy, they're going to face the same people no matter what. It's going to be all those people above them or in that top 16. And then below that, it's going to be based off of rank for the first week. And then on the second week, they're going to mostly match up people with similar records and have them go up against each other. So that is kind of how matches are determined. And so that Joy, that is when you know exactly what 15 you're going to be facing throughout the tournament.
Right, you are. And that is the ranks in sumo.
Yeah, so I guess I had one other thing that I thought was important to bring up here is the sumo lifestyle. I think there's plenty of tradition in many sports. Sumo certainly has much more tradition than most, as far as like the salt throwing, the attire, and all that. There's plenty of ceremony here, but I think one of the things that's important to note that really separates it from almost any other sport is that sumo is like a lifestyle for these athletes. In most sports, there's an off season and guys will go home and they'll just live with their family and do whatever. But in sumo, every single day from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed is sumo, because you're living in the same place as your camp. You wake up, you train, and then you go to bed and do it again.
Yeah, just like how Jake mentioned with other sports, there's an off season. There's no off season with sumo. Every 2 months there's a tournament, so you have to be constantly training.
Yep, and like we said, if you miss any matches, then that's too bad for you. You get punished for it. So yeah, it's a sport that's extremely brutal because of that lack of off season, because you're encouraged so strongly to fight even if you're injured. It's a sport that's just devastating to the body. It's very difficult, especially because you are doing it every day forever. And that kind of results in people retiring in their early 30s. Like 35 is ancient in sumo. That's about as far as your athleticism can last when you're dealing with all these, the rigors of the sport. But I think because of the tradition, because it's a lifestyle, that's also part of what makes it so fascinating. It's not just like a sport to follow; it's like an entire world to learn about. And I think that's one of my favorite things about the sport for sure.
All right, that will wrap up kind of our info dump on everything you need to know to watch a day of sumo wrestling and understand what is happening in the ring.
So if you don't get it now, it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. We explained that absolutely perfectly. So we are going to take a quick break and then come back. We're going to play a little game with some people who have been around the sport for about 2.5 years and should know a thing or two about sumo. We'll find out if they actually do. It will be the Grand Sumo Breakdown Wives.
Oh, dear.
This is going to be good.
Welcome to Totally Original Sumo Game Show. This is your host, Tad Thrasher, and today we have a special edition. We're going to be testing the sumo knowledge of the Grand Sumo Breakdown Wives, and we're going to be doing that in 3 exciting games. So let's get into our first game, Sumo Jeopardy! Please welcome today's contestants. She cries when watching an anime about gay figure skaters for the 3rd time, and wife of Jake from the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, Katie. An aerospace engineer, cat obsessor, and wife of Mac from the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, Carolyn. An educator of middle schoolers, the most wonderful woman in the world, and wife of Ryan from the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast until she gets wise and moves on, Gabby. We look forward to starting today's episode with a game of Sumo Jeopardy. Does anybody need me to explain the rules of Jeopardy?
No. I've seen.
What is Jeopardy?
No, I've seen it. That was
How do we buzz in?
was a joke.
You will buzz in by raising your hand, and it'll be a judgment call on who I think I saw first.
So hitting my hand on the table as I
It'd probably
raise
be
my
best
hand.
to leave your hands up.
Are we worried
table.
about favoritism?
It's a very wise decision to be afraid of that, yes.
You really shouldn't. You don't know anything about our marriage if you think that he's going to give me any sort
I'm
of
sorry, this
benefit
is
of the
Tad
doubt.
Thrasher, not your husband, Ryan.
Yes.
I just like to say my introduction was a little generic. It clearly could have also applied to Carolyn.
That is very true. I'm like, who? Especially the wife to Jake part. That could definitely be Carolyn.
Listen, we all wanted to be Jake's wife. I won. There you go.
So when I asked,
feel like
does
wasn't given
anybody
a
need
fair
me to
chance.
explain the rules, I feel like the answer was
The
no.
answer's no.
The
We
answer's
all know
no.
how to Jeopardy. We are not. Was it Flerick? Flerick?
Yeah.
Who doesn't understand
Oh, yeah.
Jeopardy?
He was the sassy pants.
Okay, let's get started then. Katie, Carolyn, and Gabby, we are glad to have you with us. And now the categories. Potent Potables. Tournament names that aren't Kyushu. Climbing the Ladder. Number Wang. Golden Stars. And finally, People of Sumo. Let's do a quick game to determine who will start first. Please, Gabby, select a number between 1 and 10.
8.
Katie.
2.
Carolyn.
5.
The number was 7, so Gabby, please start us off.
I so almost said 7, but
Neat.
I thought it would be cliche.
What?
Because lucky number 7. So I went 1 up for 8.
I don't know what that has to do
whatever.
with
It'd still be
choosing a
valid.
category for Sumo Jeopardy.
Potent potables for 100, please, Mr. Host.
Could we get a little bit of the sass out of that?
No.
Potent Potables for 100. What is a Sumo
Got
tournament?
it.
All right, we will
Sorry, I need to look at the screen.
clarify.
Do we need to wait for the whole question to be
Wait
read?
for the whole question to be read.
Okay, that's not how they play Jeopardy, though. I can buzz in
Jesus.
whenever
Well,
I want.
I will give
Jeopardy's
this to
kind of a
Gabby.
loose term.
Okay, but from here on
what
out,
this
I'll
But
let
from
you
he-
finish.
Whose podcast is this?
I don't know.
now.
I'm not sure you know either.
You
invited us.
dokie.
To repeat, what is a Sumo tournament called? Gabby.
Got it. It's a Bonsuke, but it looks like Banzuki.
That is incorrect.
No.
It is a basho.
Oh, we don't get a steal?
Christ.
No.
What the hell?
You don't- oh, yeah. You,
Yeah.
I had my hand raised for that. Thank you.
somebody
raised my
should have
hand.
explained the rules of Jeopardy.
Bonsuke, then.
All right. So, negative 100 to Gabby, then we'll move on and do it correct from now on.
Are words going to be reused, or can we start?
All right, Gabby, you still have control of the board because we messed up.
Potent potables, 200, please.
Bullshit.
Right?
What is the ring in which sumo wrestlers hold their matches called?
Got it.
Katie, you don't need to yell got it.
But you won't see me.
The doyo.
That is correct. 200 for Katie.
I don't want to play anymore.
Katie, you have control of the board.
Let's have potent potables for 300, Dad.
What is the thick-waisted loincloth worn for sumo training and competition? Carolyn.
Mawashi.
You said we had to read the question.
He said
I
that
didn't
Your fucking rules.
A, language.
Thanks, Cap.
B, I decided to change, then we'll go first.
Favoritism to me.
And that's 300 points for Carolyn.
that is so not fair.
Carolyn, you have control of the board.
I'm going to change categories
Okay.
and do climbing the ladder for 500.
Ooh, climbing the ladder for 500. What is the fourth highest rank in sumo wrestling, the first of the Sanyaku or title holder ranks? Gabby.
Mega Shira?
That is incorrect.
Damn
Carolyn or Katie?
it. Oops. I
Carolyn.
crossed it out.
Jurio.
That is also incorrect. Katie?
Right.
Komusubi?
That is correct. So that is minus 500 to Gabby and Carolyn and plus
I will
5 to
say
Katie.
that I will not guess on a lot of these if we're going to subtract points. So we're going to
I mean,
have a
that's
lot
how
of
Jeopardy
non-participation.
Okay. Katie, you have control of the board.
Let's do potent potables for 400.
What is the establishment called where a wrestler trains and lives, also called a stable? Katie.
What is a heya?
All right, that is correct. Katie, you have control of the board.
Let's do potent potables for 500.
What is the list of sumo wrestlers called that lists them according to their rank, which is determined by their performance in the previous tournament? Gabby.
This is Bonsuke.
That is correct.
Yes.
And Gabby, you have control of the board.
Climbing the ladder for 100.
What is the top rank in sumo wrestling only obtained by 72 individuals? Gabby.
Yokozuna.
That is correct.
Oh. I was like, okay, yeah. People of Sumo for 500.
Oh, jumping everywhere. What do you call the ushers, announcers, and general assistants at a sumo tournament? Carolyn.
Yopidashi.
That is correct.
Whoa.
Dang, girl.
I watch
Get it.
documentaries.
All right, Carolyn, control of the board.
I'm going to say number wang for 100.
Oh, man.
How many days are in each of the 6 yearly professional sumo tournaments? Katie.
15.
That is correct.
I had no idea. I just know it's too long. I know that sumo recording takes up like 2 weeks. So, I guess I could have figured it out then.
All right, Gabby talked herself into the right answer, but Katie has control of the board.
Let's do number wang for 200.
How many wins are required to achieve more wins than losses, which results in a promotion for the next tournament in the top sumo division? I think that was Katie.
8.
That is correct.
Okay.
I don't know why I started on basic math.
I know. Well, I was thinking,
I knew the
think
answer,
this-
and then I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Math.
I was like, isn't this just
you can
basic
find that out
math?
through
And
math.
then
It
I
is.
thought maybe there was some trick to
I'm
it.
really bad at basic math. Oh, number wang for 300. Thank you.
What is the most amount of wins a wrestler can have while still having more losses than wins, or a makekoshi? Carolyn.
7.
That is correct.
I had a really hard time understanding
yeah.
that question.
Yeah, that was probably the least well-written one. Carolyn, you have control of the board.
Ooh, same category, 400.
How many title holder ranks, also known as sanyaku, are there in the top division of sumo wrestling? Katie.
42.
That is incorrect. Oh, no. Carolyn.
4.
That is correct.
Oh.
Carolyn.
Ooh, same category, 500.
How many wrestlers are in the top division of sumo wrestling? Katie.
42.
That is correct. Katie's control of the board.
Let's do people of sumo for 100.
What is the most common term for a sumo wrestler, which literally translates to powerful man? Gabby.
Rikshi.
That is correct.
People of Sumo 200.
What is the name for sumo wrestlers that have reached the paid divisions or the top 2 divisions in sumo wrestling? Katie.
Sekitori.
That is correct.
Can we do people of sumo for 300?
We can. What do you call a sumo referee? Katie.
Gyoji.
I knew that one. I got excited.
Follow the rules.
I buzzed in too early.
I am the law.
Blew my shot.
I am the law.
You are the law.
That's right. Now you have control of the board.
People of sumo for 400.
What do you call a sumo coach? Katie.
Oyakata.
That is correct.
Papa Oyakata.
Like, I don't know.
Let's do... Oh, Lord. Let's do climbing the ladder for 200.
What is the most common and lowest rank in the top sumo division? Katie.
Megashira.
That is correct.
Oh, I'd crossed that out on my paper already on accident.
Let's do climbing the ladder for 300.
What is the second highest rank in all of sumo, which used to be the highest attainable rank? Gabby.
Ozeki?
That is correct.
Yeah, the 400, climbing the ladder.
All right. What is the third highest rank in sumo wrestling, which is the highest rank you can achieve by simply having consistent winning records? Katie.
What is Sekiwaki?
That is correct.
I touched my mic.
Professional podcasters.
Ooh, let's do tournament names that aren't Kyushu for 100.
What is the name of the tournament held in July of every year in Nagoya? Carolyn.
Junyusho?
I think you're in the wrong
Oh,
category.
I am.
Katie.
Hatsu.
That is incorrect. Gabby.
Is it Nagoya?
It is Nagoya.
I thought it was the Matsubasho, though.
No, the The name of the tournament held in July of every year in Nagoya is the Nagoya Tournament.
Then what's the Nashu one?
We'll find out.
We got to keep playing the category.
He has blank terms in. Never mind.
Golden stars for 500, please.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Go big or go home.
What is it called when a Maegashira defeats a Yokozuna?
No, I'm scared.
Gabby?
No.
Okay, we'll go Carolyn.
I'm guessing because this is fun to say. Kachi Kachi.
It's Kachikoshi, and it's wrong. Katie.
Shiraboshi?
That is also incorrect. Gabby, do you want to give it a shot?
Yes.
What would you like to answer?
Jun Yusho.
That is incorrect.
Darn it.
The correct answer is a Keen Boshi.
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't even see that on the list.
Sounds like a fault of yours and not the person who made the list.
Golden.
Gabby, you have control of the board.
Golden stars?
Yes.
Is that what I said the first time?
Yes.
Oh. I just don't remember ever saying those words before. Golden stars, 400.
Sure thing. What is the name for the 3 prizes, which are special prizes awarded to wrestlers in the top division for exceptional performance? Carolyn.
Kachi Koshi.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
Katie or Gabby? Gabby.
Jun Yusho?
No. Katie.
Is it Sancho?
It is. Katie has control of the board.
I don't think I deserve that.
Doesn't matter.
Let's do golden stars for 100 like sane people.
Go big or go home, Katie.
What is the tournament championship called, awarded to the wrestler with the most wins in each division? Carolyn.
Kashi Koshi.
No. Gabby.
Jun Yusho?
Oh. Katie.
Yusho?
Yay. That is correct.
Oh my god, this is great.
Katie.
Let's do golden stars for 200.
What is the designation for a wrestler that finished a tournament with the second most wins in the top division? I think I have to give that to Katie.
I know.
What's a junior show?
That is
I
correct.
knew it.
You were.
All right, Katie.
That was mine.
No, it was mine because you raised your hand halfway through the
No
sentence.
bickering between contestants, please.
Okay.
We can bicker however we want.
Yeah, don't tell us what to do, host.
Golden stars for 300, Katie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carolyn, pay attention. What is it called when a wrestler achieves more wins than losses in a tournament? Carolyn!
Kashi Koshi.
Yeah!
You got it.
We did it.
Katie stole mine.
It took a while to get there,
I
but we
didn't
got
steal
there.
anything. I won.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
All right, Carolyn, you have control of the board.
Tournament names that aren't Kyushu. 200.
What is the name of the opening tournament held in January of every year in Tokyo? Katie.
Hatsu.
That is correct.
300 in the same category.
What is the name of the spring tournament held in March of every year in Osaka? Carolyn.
Osaka?
No.
Haru.
Correct.
Oh my God. We
Hopefully the mics did not pick that up.
behind me.
Katie.
400.
What is the name of the summer tournament held in May of every year in Tokyo? Katie.
Natsu.
That is correct.
Natsu.
And the
Sumo.
final category, tournament names that aren't Kyushu for 500. What is the name of the autumn tournament held in September of every year in Tokyo? Katie.
Aki.
That is correct. And of course, the Kyushu tournament is held in November of every year.
As everybody
It wasn't
knows.
your yo.
Fukuoka.
Wow.
That is Fukuoka. Once again, Fukuoka. All right, Mac, can you read us the scores for everybody as it is time for Final Jeopardy? All right, we'll start with Gabby. What is your answer?
My answer was Fukuoka.
That is Fukuoka. And how much did you wager?
I wagered 200.
All right. The correct answer is actually Makuuchi. So that is negative 200 more points for Gabby. All right, Carolyn, what did you have?
I had Pikachu. And
That is incorrect. And how much did you wager?
1,500.
Ooh, Carolyn down to negative 1,600. And Katie,
I'm still wrong. I said Jurio.
that is the most closest to correct.
It's a division.
It is a division.
But I only wagered 500.
All right, Katie down
Still
to
winning.
3,300.
Because if you added 1,500 to my score, I wouldn't even come close to Katie. So
No, I
might as
know.
well,
That's why I didn't bet a lot of points. I was like, I don't have to
You know,
try.
because if you're gonna go down in
I
flames,
wasn't-
might as well blow it up.
I was like, what is division? I was like, I don't know any of the divisions.
All right, so after one round, we have Carolyn at negative 1,600.
Oh, these points compound.
Oh, yes, they do.
Oh,
Gabby at negative 400.
mistakes are made.
And Katie at 3,300. We will be right back after a quick break for Hey a Feud. All right, it's time to play Hey a Feud. We've got 3 great contestants today. Right in front of me, we have the Carolyn Bea. In the middle, we have the Katie Bea. And right next to me, we have the Gabby Bea. First, let's go over how this will work. In just a moment, we'll have a representative from each of the Heas try to be the first to buzz in and correctly provide an answer to the question asked. If your answer is the top answer, you get control of the board. If not, your opponents will have a chance to provide a higher ranked answer. Once you have control of the board, you will have a chance to provide the remaining answers for that question. But be careful. If you get one wrong, you will get a strike. 3 strikes, and your opponents will have a chance to buzz in. The first to buzz in will gain control of the board with a chance to finish providing the answers. But they will only have 1 strike. If they get that strike, the final team will have 1 chance to provide an answer and steal all of the points for the round. The last team to provide a correct answer will receive all of the points for that round. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's get started. There are 1,000 points up for grabs in this round. Carolyn, Gabby, and Katie are the first contestants. We have asked 100 Bonds Ks, and the top 7 answers are on the board. The first to buzz in and give an answer will have control of the board. Who are the top 7 current sumo wrestlers, those that are currently ranked Yokozuna, Ozeki, and Sekiwake? Gabby.
Hakuho.
Number 1 answer. And that means that that is worth 200 points. And so the Gabby Bea has control of the board. All right, Gabby, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself at this time?
Oh, gosh.
Is your life that boring?
Kind of.
Ow, that hurts.
I really like to hike, and I like to lift weights, and I really love cats, and I'm an educator. I'm really close to finishing my master's degree. And those are about all of the things that I talk about all the time.
Neat. All right, why don't you provide us with the next answer?
The next answer is Hakudo Fuji.
That's a strike. All right, but you still have 2 strikes remaining, so why don't you provide us with the next answer?
Aoyama. Oh.
2 strikes. All right. Carolyn and Katie Beas prepare to have a chance to steal if Gabby gets this next one incorrect.
I don't recognize the other names, though.
That's probably should have paid attention to like the past 3 years of me watching sumo.
Ichinojo.
Number 6 answer on the board worth 75 points. Gabby Bea stays alive. Can she pull an answer out of her butt for 5 straight more times?
Takayasu.
That is correct. The number 4 answer on the board worth 150 points.
Tochinoshin.
That is correct. The number 7 answer on the board worth 75 points. We've got 3 answers left.
Matakiumi.
All right, Katie, Carolyn, first one to raise your hand. Carolyn.
Takakeisho.
Number 5 answer on the board worth 150 points. All right. Carolyn Bea, you have control now, and you have 1 chance to answer. If you get it wrong, then Katie will have a chance to steal all the points in the round. The number 2 and number 3 answers remain.
Goyero.
Number 3 answer on the board for 150 points. All right, Carolyn, to finish it out.
Daisho.
That is incorrect. I am sorry. All right, Katie, with a chance to steal all the points for the round, the full 1,000 points.
No pressure.
The number 2 answer on the board is...
Kakuryu.
That is correct. That is 1,000.
What's more infuriating about your victory dance is the one that Jake is doing right in front of me.
Every time I get one right, he is so proud of me. I can just see it.
I can tell.
He's like, she gets 1 more Oreo and all of this is done.
I get cookies. Okay,
You really should have come up with better motivators.
flip him over.
Can we look at this?
Would a better motivation have gotten you the correct answers, Carolyn?
No.
But it
Cheating
wouldn't. It
would've
wouldn't.
probably.
It wouldn't have hurt though.
All right, it is time for the second round. We have another 1,000 points up for grab in this round. Let's get the next member of each Heya up here. Carolyn, Gabby, and Katie are the next contestants. We have asked 100 Sheepon, and the top 6 answers are on the board. What are the 6 divisions of sumo wrestling? Gabby.
Jurio.
Number 2 answer on the board. Katie and Carolyn, can you provide a higher answer? Katie.
Makuuchi.
Number 1 answer on the board. So we've got 325 points for Makuuchi on the board and 250 for Jurio. Katie, your team has control of the board, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself before we move on?
I work with senior citizens, typically helping them learn to Google things. It's a great use of my bachelor's degree, I tell you what.
Neat. Okay. Why don't you provide us another answer? We have 4 answers remaining.
Sandanme.
Number 4 answer worth 100 points.
What?
Jonidan.
Number 5 answer worth 75 points. Katie going for the clean sweep. 2 answers remain, number 3 and number 6.
Makushita.
Number 3 answer on the board with 175. Katie. Katie looking to clean this up. One more.
Fundoshi.
1 strike. You still have 2 chances remaining.
Hanamichi.
All right. Gabby Bea, Carolyn Bea, get ready to steal in case Katie cannot finish this out.
Jonokuchi.
Number 6 answer. We're 75 points. Katie gets the clean sweep and gets another 1,000 points.
Way to go.
Oh wait, there were only 6. I was still looking for the 7th. I was just sitting here going, I can't do another one. I don't know it.
You did a great job.
Okay, this is like this is exactly how my March Madness bracket worked though. I did really, really, really well until the final 4, and then it just went to
I mean, but that would require skill on the other parts. And
That requires
to
just
be
knowing who
honest,
the teams are, and I still struggle with
right.
that.
I feel like I'm guessing.
I
I'm like, oh, this is a word I know. I've heard this word
I
uttered
know
before
that's
in
why
my life.
that's why I guessed some of the ones that I did for the first round is because I'm like, I think
they were
Ryan
all
has-
wrestlers.
I know. I'm like, I think Ryan has talked about this guy before. Apparently, he talks about shitty
He loves
people.
Endo and he loves
I know
Aoyama.
some of these words.
Yes.
Are we ready to continue the game?
Yeah,
we're
sorry.
just having fun.
There's no room for that on a podcast.
I thought it was a game show.
Okay, we have time for one more round. Point totals for this round will be doubled, meaning there are 2,000 points up for grabs. All right, Carolyn, Gabby, and Katie, we have asked 100 sumo nerds, and the top 5 answers are on the board. Who are the Yokozuna with the most all-time tournament wins? Carolyn.
Hakuho.
Number 1 answer. Worth 650 points. Hakuho has a career 42 Yusho wins. All right, Carolyn, you have control of the board and a chance to provide us with the final 4 answers. But before that, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself?
Well, shoot.
It's hard, isn't it?
It is. It is like, well, Katie and Gabby are like, yeah, I can talk about this and I can talk about that. And now you're like, oh, I don't do things.
Fascinating. All right, Carolyn, if you could provide us with another answer.
Futa Bayama.
That is incorrect. He only had 12 career Yushos, which does not crack the top 5 of all time. All right, you still have 2 strikes remaining.
Waka no Hana.
I
I'm making life so easy for the
don't
other
even
two.
see him as an option. Did you mean Takanohana?
No, his name
you wrote
there's
Waka no
Wakanohana.
Oh, is it
It's just-
Wakanohana?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Either is wrong. They're both a person.
Well,
they both
it
have
just looks like
Yushos.
it was fun to say, and I had a lot of fun saying that word.
It's okay because either is wrong. It was supposed to be Takanohana, and he had 22. You still have control of the board with 2 strikes.
Oh my god. Taiho.
Number 2 answer. He had 32 career Yushos, and that was worth 400 points.
Akebono. Oh no.
All right, Katie, Gabby, have a chance to steal. Whoever raises their hand first.
Oh.
Gabby.
Asa Shoryu.
That is correct. That is the number 5 answer on the board worth 275 points. Or, sorry, that is number 4 answer worth 300 points. I apologize. All right, Gabby, you have control of the board, but only one strike will give Katie a chance to steal. The number 3 and number 5 answers remain.
Well, I thought we were on the last round, so I was like, oh, I can sneak in and win all the points. I didn't realize I'd have to guess another one. Musashimaru.
Musashimaru.
Well, here you go, Katie. Take some points.
As if you need them.
All right, Katie.
You're the 1%.
One chance
I
to
hope
steal
you're
them
proud
all.
of yourself.
I don't like this now.
3, 2.
Wajima?
That means that Gabby will get all of the points for that round,
She
as
had
she
the most
provided
recent
the
correct
most
answer.
recent correct answer. All right, let's see the number 3 answer on the board. That is Chiyo no Fuji with 31 career wins, and the number 5 answer is Kita Naomi with 24 career wins. All right, Mr. Scorekeeper, how many points did Gabby get in that round?
Oh, don't look at these.
All right, 1350 for Gabby, doing some quick math. Puts her right there. And so after 2 rounds, our scores are Carolyn, still with negative 1,600 points.
Oh, dear.
We have Gabby in the land of the positives with 950 points. And Katie pulling away from the crowd with 5,300 points. So it looks like Carolyn is in last place and will participate.
Oh, really?
And will participate in a bonus round coming up after the break to try to improve her score. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now it is time for our bonus round. Carolyn is off to a slow start, so we're going to give her a chance to catch up with a round of 90-second taboo. How this will work is Carolyn will select a member of the Grand Sumo Breakdown crew to be her partner. She will have 90 seconds to describe 10 words to her partner, each word worth 200 points. If Carolyn and her partner successfully go through all 10 words, then Carolyn will receive an additional 500 points. Sounds easy, right? But there will be a list of taboo words that Carolyn will not be able to use when trying to get her partner to guess that word. If she says one of those words, she will lose a chance at the 200 points for that word, and she will have no shot at the 500 bonus points for getting all the words right. Carolyn is also allowed to pass on a word she is struggling with and come back to it if there is enough time. One last rule, no gestures. So, Carolyn, which member of the GSB crew will you select to be your partner?
Fleric.
All right. Fleric, how do you feel about being selected for this important task?
Could you explain the rules one more time?
Oh my god.
No, just kidding. Let's just go.
Carolyn, your 90 seconds begin now.
Hakuho.
Passing.
Okay.
Solid
It
start.
was probably Hakuho.
Passing. Mac made a song about this, and it's off of a Lady Gaga one. And in the
You should race.
but in the beginning, he
Mata.
yes.
Yeah.
This guy runs a blog, and it's a smack of 2 people, individuals at the initiation.
Tachiai
Yes.
with Ben? Okay.
Passing.
I love it. Did we win?
So there was an Outcast song, and it kind of had this going on.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
It's brown blank detergent.
Mawashi.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good at this, aren't I?
You got 30 seconds.
Oh,
No women are allowed on this.
Dohyo.
Shoot. All right. Begin again.
Start, revive, renew.
If there was like a really, really tight
Ooh.
decision,
A tight decision. Close.
and they begin again.
Recount.
But it's a word. It's a Japanese word. Apparently, Ryan is somehow
Reborn. Rikshi.
Oh no, they weren't Jesse and Ryan. They're telling
All
me
right.
to get closer
Rebound.
to
That is
Never mind.
That is
Let's
time.
just go through it.
Okay.
It was
How do we do?
Tori Naoshi.
Tori now. Oh, okay.
You and Carolyn got 5 correct, so Carolyn gets 1,000 bonus points.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah!
keeps
Yeah!
her in the negative. So Carolyn will now have negative 600 points. We'll take a
Thank
quick
you, Flair.
break, get the other ladies back in here, and we'll play a little bit of Who Wants to Be a Sumo Torinair. Welcome to Who Wants to Be a Sumo Torinair. Are you ladies ready to go?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, we are in round 3 of a heated battle. Let's reintroduce our 3 contestants. We've got Gabby, we've got Katie, and we've got Carolyn. And the scores, to refresh everybody, Carolyn still with negative 600 after that bonus round. Gabby at 950, and Katie with a whole heck of a lot. So how Who Wants to Be a Sumo Torinair will work is I will read a question and present you with 4 possible answers. The first to buzz in after I have read all the possible answers will have 5 seconds to answer the question. If they get it correct, they will get 1,000 points. If they get it wrong, their opponents will have a chance to buzz in and answer correctly for 500 points. There will be no disincentive for getting it wrong, so you will not lose points for a wrong answer. And then there will only be 2 chances. The third person will not have a shot at answering the question if the first 2 get it wrong. There are 3 lifelines available to our contestants. We have 50-50, 60 seconds of phone time, a.k.a. Google, or Ask a GSB Host. Each lifeline can only be used once, and only one can be used per question. For example, if Carolyn uses 50-50 on the first question, no one can use another lifeline on the first question, and 50-50 cannot be used on any subsequent questions. Are you ladies ready and understand? Gabby does not look ready.
I'm not.
Okay.
So we're buzzing in like normal.
Yes.
Do we have to wait? Are you going to read through the answers?
I will read
first,
through all the
and
answers,
then we
and
buzz
then
in?
you raise your hand.
Also, I don't have my phone.
I will allow you to borrow mine.
Okay. Then
Any
I have
other
no-
questions?
No.
Question number 1. What is the stew commonly eaten in large quantities by sumo wrestlers as part of a weight gain diet? Is it A, danpatsu shiki, B, chanko nabe, C, gaburi yori, or D, hyoshu gi? I think that was Katie.
It is B. Chanko Nabe.
That is correct for 1,000 points. Question number 2. What is the fan used by the Gyoji to signal his instructions and final decision during a match? Is it A, hakioi, B, hikiwake, C, gunbai, or D, jungyo? Carolyn.
C. Goombay.
That is correct for 1,000 points.
Oh, these are worth a lot.
Yeah, they are. It's almost like the entire game leading up to this does not matter. Very important for Carolyn. Question number 3. Who are the ringside judges or umpires who may issue final rulings on any disputed decision? Is it A, the Gyoji, B, Yobidashi, C, Shimpan, or D, Oyakata? Gabby.
I would like to use a 50-50.
So 50-50, the answer is either C, Shimpan, or D, Oyakata.
Oh. D, Oyakata.
That is incorrect. Katie.
Shimpan.
That is correct for 500 points. All right, it is time for our first bonus question. Who is the most handsome, suave, and debonair host of the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast? Is it A, Jake, B, Mac, C, Flerick, or D, Ryan? Gabby.
Flerick.
That is correct for 1,000 points. Question number 4. What is a win by default because of the absence of the opponent? Is it A, Dayashi, B, Fusensho, C, Shinitai, or D, Fusenpai? Katie.
I'd like to use a phone a friend.
All right, ask a GSB host.
I'd like to ask a GSB host.
Who will you be asking?
I'd like to ask Jake.
So, Jake, the question again is, what is a win by default because of the absence of the opponent? Is it A, Dayashi, B, Fusensho, C, Shinitai, or D, Fusenpai?
Jake is signaling that his answer is B, and I'm going to go with Jake for B.
That is correct for 1,000 points. Question number 5. What is the term for a sidestep to avoid an attack typically done at the initial charge? While this is a legitimate technique, it is often regarded as bad sumo and unworthy of higher-ranked wrestlers. Is it A, an hanka, A, a hanka, B, nodowa, C, tsupari, or D, oshidashi? I was pretty close between Katie and Gabby, and because Gabby's behind, I'm going to give it to her.
A, Hanka.
That is correct. Sorry, Katie. You can take it up with me after the show.
We will.
All right, question number 6. What is the term for high rankers loosely used to describe wrestlers who would expect to face a Yokozuna during the tournament? Is it A, Sanyaku, B, Joijin, C, Komusubi, or D, Kabu? Gabby.
I would like to Google, please.
All right, this is the final lifeline. You know what? We'll refresh the lifelines after this, but yes.
What? When does my time start?
Jake has started your time, it looks like.
What?
All right, so we have 60 seconds to fill while my wife is trying to Google this question. I will...
I thought you were Ted Thrasher.
Okay, I think I got it.
All right, what is the answer?
Joijin?
That is correct. After only about 15 seconds of Googling. That is...
Just so happened to be the one that I Googled, and then it popped up right away.
I was going to guess that because it was fun to say. Joijin.
Also,
Hey.
it told me I spelled it wrong.
Well,
It said it was Joo.
that is incorrect. It is JOI.
Oh, you need to tell Google.
I will send in
Oh.
a request to...
I did not know there were more questions.
Yes.
I thought that was the last question.
In fact... All right, so I'll be nice and we'll refresh the lifeline. So all the lifelines are back for the second half of questions. Also, it's time for bonus question number 2. Does it take too long for the Grand Sumo Breakdown hosts to record an episode of their podcast? A, yes. How does it take an hour and a half to start recording when the outline is already made? I hear you laughing in there. Stop hanging out with your friends and get your business done so you can pay attention to me. Yeah. B, yes. I came over here to hang out with all of my friends, and half of them are locked in the basement and telling me to be quiet. All the while, I have to watch these dogs that just want to play, so now I'm yelling at them to be quiet, so I hope that shows up on your episode and ruins everything, you rude jerks. Is it C? Yes, but I love my husband and my friends, so I understand that they are working hard to make a good product. Or is it D? No, it takes as long as it takes. Shut up. Deal with it. Carolyn.
I choose A.
That is incorrect.
What?
Gabby or Katie?
It's totally B.
That is incorrect. The answer is D. No, it takes as long as it takes. Shut up. Deal with it. No points in that round.
I'd like to lodge a formal complaint.
Yes. Also, all of you
I
will
would
have
choose
to
B,
deal
but I don't
with
have
the
dogs.
ramifications of that answer being correct once this is over.
Yes, all of us.
Except Jake. Jake is like, I got nothing to do with this.
Oh, man. It got dark.
Question 7. What is the term referring to practice or training in sumo? Is it A, keiko, B, shizo, C, azukari, or D, ginosho? Gabby.
B, Shiko.
That is incorrect. Katie.
A, Keiko.
That is correct for 500. Question number 8. What is the traditional Japanese haircut with a top knot now only worn by Rikishi? Is it A, oichomage, B, kise no sato, C, tokoyama, or D, beadsuke? Gabby.
Oichiomage.
That is correct for 1,000 points. Question number 9. What is the term for an ozeki who has had more losses than wins or a makekoshi in the previous tournament? Is it A, kadoban, B, kete-sen, C, kanto sho, or D, ozeki dubati? That was really close between Gabby and Katie, so Carolyn.
Yes, I like your joke. C, Kanto show.
That is incorrect. Katie.
A, Kadoban.
That is correct.
I actually knew that one. I was really excited.
You knew the last one.
I guessed on the last one.
Oh.
All right, it is time for bonus question. Who is the most adorable? Is it A, Piper, B, Bubbles, C, Panthro, or D, Enho? Carolyn.
C, Panthro.
That is
Final and
incorrect.
complete answer.
It's D, Enho.
It is D, Enho.
I have
Deanno.
Panther written on my sheet. Yeah. Panther's Jake's cat. He's fluffy and I love him, but he hates me.
He loves me.
That is correct
loves
for
Mac.
a pity 200 points for Carolyn.
Hit it points.
All right, question number 10. What is the ring entering ceremony performed by wrestlers in the Juryo and Makuuchi divisions where the East and West sides perform their ring entering ceremony together and then the Yokozuna have their own individual ring entering ceremony? Is it A, Kachiage, B, Kachi no Kori, C, Kesho Mawashi, or D, Dohyo Iri? Katie.
D, Doyo Iri.
That is correct. Question number...
Carolyn, we must stop Katie.
I don't think we can.
Yeah, you have 2 questions left. I'm pretty sure you're way in the dust on this.
Keeping score.
What if one of us stabs her?
Okay, whoa, this is my house.
Never mind.
Don't make me bleed on my own carpet.
Just saying,
rude.
she can't answer if we make her pass out.
I thought we were friends.
We are, but winning, Katie. Winning.
Question number 11. What is the discussion held by the ringside judges when the Gyoji's decision for a match is called into question? Is it A, Tori Naoshi, B, Shimpan, C, Mono-e, or D, Yaucho? Gabby.
Google. Gimme. What question were we on? Okay.
No pressure.
Oh, right. We're supposed to be filling up this time. So once again, the question that Gabby is Googling is
It's not going.
What is the discussion held by the ringside judges or Shimpan when the Gyoji's decision for a match is called into question? Is it A, Tori Naoshi, B, Shimpan, C, Mono-e, or D, Yaucho? Now, I think one of the answers should be pretty quick to eliminate, as Shimpan is in both the question and the answer.
Okay.
Which probably means that it is not correct. I believe Gabby is
I did not realize that.
having some technical difficulties here. That sounds like somebody that's having technical difficulties. We have 15 seconds left to be doing the Googling of
What is this?
either Tori Naoshi,
1978.
Mono-e, or Yaucho.
Okay, well, that one's just a band, apparently.
4, 3, 2, 1. Gabby, I need an answer.
It's Yaucho.
That is incorrect.
What? I
Katie.
literally looked up all the other ones.
Katie.
What is Mono-e?
Mono-e is a discussion held by ringside judges when the Gyoji's decision for a match is called into question. So the correct answer.
I was
Guess-
still in Jeopardy mode.
Guess which one also just brings up a ton of YouTube videos for a band when you Google it?
Mono-e?
Yes.
That sounds like that's user error.
Oh.
All right, our final question. Question number 12. What are the two terms referring to the two main types of sumo? Pushing sumo and belt sumo. Is it A, Tsupari Sumo and Otsuke Sumo? B, Inashi Sumo and Shisho Let's try that again. B, Inashi Sumo and Shisho Sumo. C, Yotsu Sumo and Oshi Sumo. Or D, Moro Sumo and Migi Sumo. Gabby.
50-50, please.
All right, it is either C, Yotsuzumo and Oshizumo, or D, Morozumo and Migizumo. I will give you a hint. Moro and Migi are the name of two cats that are kept at a stable.
Aww. Wait.
I
Really?
don't know whether that helps me or not.
What are the
Or
two
is it a
terms
fun
referring
fact?
to the two main types of sumo?
This is crap.
Okay, so C.
That is correct.
That was
Yotsuzumo and Oshizumo.
What if they named the cats after the two types? That would be adorable.
That's exactly
Because
what
of-
I thought.
One of us did judo in college and has been taking Japanese.
Oh, that's too bad, Katie.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I got the good pen.
That is my pen. That
All right,
is my
well,
pen.
Mac is tallying
I know.
up the final scores. Let's just let the ladies reflect upon their time a little bit. What did you think about your knowledge of sumo coming into this quiz?
This sucked. I obviously know way less than I thought I did. And
I have a
already
bonus
thought I
question.
didn't.
Okay.
Which wife listens to the podcast?
I
Which
believe
life
that
is
would
a brown noser.
All right.
Sure it does.
With a final score of 1,000 points,
Ooh.
it is Carolyn.
yeah, I came in last.
It's second.
You're positive and a comma.
it's,
comma?
1,000.
1,000 points.
Yeah.
It's second place with 5,950 points. We have Gabby, the angry one. And in first place with 11,200 points, we have Katie, who has earned the grand prize of a Grand Sumo Breakdown group hug,
Is it shirtless?
which we will be administering to her after this podcast is over. So thank you, ladies, for joining us for Totally Original Sumo Game Show. I hope you had a terrible experience and slightly
It was
embarrassed
great.
about your level of sumo knowledge. Hopefully this will teach you to pay attention more to your husband's interests and also be nicer to us when we're recording podcasts.
I
She's
think
gonna hurt you.
I think beer improved the experience. So
I just
feel like
have
next time
one
we need
thing to
drink.
say to you. You, Oka.
Fukuoka. That is Fukuoka.
You, Oka.
All right, and I believe the technical term for what we just listened to was show.
That makes no sense. But I will say one of those questions you wrote was really, really good, and I appreciate your opinion. I think it was the most ruggedly
Handsome, suave, and debonair host of the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast.
You have a good opinion, Ryan.
I think another thing we need to work on, though, is Ryan's self-esteem.
No, I think we need to sort out. There was a real loaded question in there on who was cuter between Enho, Bubbles, Piper, and Panthro, which my wife got wrong completely. But
I mean, the obvious answer is
What?
clearly
Hold on
Enho.
here.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement here. It's got to be Enho.
yes, but she's never snuggled Enho.
You sure?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, look at the time.
Eric, what did you do?
All right. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed at least either the first part of our introduction episode or the quiz with our wives part of the introduction episode. We just wanted to, once again, redo this, kind of get more information out than our previous iteration. But that is all the time we have for this podcast. So if you would like to rate and review this podcast, you can give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Twitter at GSumo Breakdown and Facebook at Grand Sumo Breakdown. And we also have an Instagram page
At Grand Sumo Breakdown. You can also check out our blog, where we keep our fantasy and sumo power rankings, grandsumobreakdown.com.
If you want to talk to us live, give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO. Though it won't actually be live.
It's a voicemail.
It's a voicemail. But we'd love to talk to you live. Go ahead, give us a call. We're lonely.
We are lonely
if,
people.
If you could find one of our numbers, go for it. We'll talk to you.
You've heard our wives. We're lonely.
They're mean to us, especially mine to me.
She was evil at you. She was bad.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time, and me and my wife are going to go to counseling.
Seriously.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
and keep moving forward.